Right now, we're headed back out to the Saltwater Barrier with James Ware. And again, if you didn't know it existed, don't know where it is, it's on the Neches River, right, James?
It is on the Neches River. That's where we are at the Saltwater Barrier, and what a huge impact it has on a lot of things we do in life, but mainly our drinking water, one of the biggest things. But Scott Hall with the LNVA joins us. And Scott, thanks for being with us again. And
yes, sir.
A lot going on here, but I mean, what is the biggest purpose of the Saltwater Barrier?
Well, we're here to protect the fresh water supply. It prevents salt water from migrating up from the Port of Beaumont and the ship channel on up to the freshwater intakes of Beaumont and the Lower Neches Valley Authority.
You've got 7 people that work here in your facility. We're going to go into the lab here, but as we walk toward the lab, just talk about what the people here do as far as the quality of the water. They do samples all day long. They're taking samples and testing them.
Right. So the water quality lab here does a couple different things. Today they're checking the water quality in the canal system so that our customers know some of the treatability issues they'll face as the water supply reaches their facilities. And they're getting ready to run, turbidity is one of those tests they run. It is a measure of kind of the muddiness of the water, how well light penetrates the water supply.
So Brian and Diane, they're getting the samples ready, and if they come across a problem, what is the first thing they do as far as maybe something that could get in our drinking water? They alert you, or?
Right, and if it's something out in the watershed, they'll notify the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality that would launch an investigation. If it's an immediate situation on the canal system, we can take actions. We have a spill response team that would work to mitigate any impacts to our customers as well.
Okay. And as far as Toledo Bend, people don't realize the Neches River, maybe all the way from the Gulf, that's what's pushing the salt water. Our fresh water's coming in from Sam Rayburn area. And how does Sam Rayburn benefit from this? Because they would lose a lot of water. They would have to release their fresh water if we didn't have the saltwater barrier. Is that correct?
That's right. So on average, this structure ends up saving about 2 foot of water in Rayburn every year. In a drought year like 2011 was, probably 6 feet or so of water in Rayburn that wouldn't have been there if we had been releasing that water to flush the salt water back out to the Gulf.
Okay. So, I don't know, as far as our drinking water and the quality of it, it all develops right here.
This is one of those key pieces to it. Certainly is. We work to manage the water supply, and this is a key part of that management.
Okay. And recreational-wise, it's still open to the public as far as the boat launches here. This is some of the best in town.
That's right. We have launches upstream and downstream. We have public restroom facilities, and the ramps were put in when the structure was being built, and so they're the longest, deepest ramps on the river and in great shape. Plenty of parking too.
Can you talk about the ponds that surround it that are stocked with fish?
Right. So historically, there were a lot of sand pits down in this area, and when we came in for construction, we acquired one of those sand pits for a dredge disposal area as they built the structure. The contractor didn't use it, but we noticed the locals fished in it a lot. We had Parks and Wildlife in, they surveyed it, said, it's great, if you'll keep it open to the public, we'll stock it. So they bring catfish in the fall, and then in the winter they'll bring trout, rainbow trout in December and January. The bass and brim population are native and healthy enough, they're self-sustaining. So we have some parking and picnic tables down there, and it's a good outing.
Yeah. Of course, Dan, it may seem like it's off the beaten path. Not that far, though. Come down Lucas, you hit Bigner, and then Bigner eventually turns into the Saltwater Barrier, and that's where it dead ends, into the Neches River. It's worth checking out.
All right. And again, this is run by the Lower Neches Valley Authority, LNVA, right?
Yes.
All right. James, thanks. Appreciate it. And where are you headed tomorrow?
Let's see. Tomorrow's Tuesday. We're going to do our $1 million homes and continue those tours of those big houses that we all dream about.